Hello guys, and welcome to today's video. Today's video, as you can guess by the title and by the thumbnail, will be an Xbox Series 2 Elite controller. Also Series 1, it will work for the Series 1 as well, but this is for the Elite Series 2 controller settings or best settings for Call of Duty Vanguard, and at the same time I will be doing Call of Duty Vanguard best settings that I currently am using that I feel like will help benefit you guys too. So what I'm going to start off with first, I will be showing my Elite Series 2 controller settings first, and then in the comment section below I will leave a timestamp to my best settings for Call of Duty Vanguard, so you guys who don't have the Elite controller or have no interest about the Elite controller settings can skip to that part and go to my Call of Duty Vanguard settings, where I'll talk about like things like sensitivity, field of view, different graphic settings, because I know some of you came into my streams the last couple of days. I've done a couple of streams the last 2 days, and some of you have been asking questions about the controller, like what settings to have, and also like to make your game look better. So these are things that I'm going to address in this video here, because I feel like a lot of you guys keep coming in and asking about these things, and I was planning to make this video anyway. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Elite controller. So one, for any of you who don't own Elite controller, I know some of you last time got to my video and were wondering how good the Elite controller is and stuff, and used my video as like a way to gauge what you thought about it. My personal opinion, Elite controller is a fantastic controller. It's a controller where if you buy it and you don't like it initially, like there is a way to make it suit you essentially, whereas compared to other controllers like a Scuff or that, once you've bought it, once you've got it all set up and customized, if you don't like it, that's it. You can't do any like amazing changes too much. You can change maybe the stick height and stuff, but that's about it. Whereas with this, you can tailor it to your needs, and that's what I've done with this controller so far. The only thing I will say though, for anyone looking to buy this controller, the biggest downfall, biggest problem with the Elite controller, and you've probably seen it quite a few places, is its durability in certain aspects. So currently, you probably notice right now, like for instance here, my right click button is RB. And the reason for that is currently my RB button is busted. I can click it, but it registers no input whatsoever, unfortunately. Only issue I have at the moment, don't have any stick drift. I know that's an issue that does pop up sometimes, but obviously sometimes it's just down to people who, you know, how you care for the controller and stuff. I do feel like I take care of my controller very well. I did have it for like 1.5 years without this issue. Last like 3 months or so, I've had this RB issue. Not the biggest problem in the world, though it would be nice to still have, you know, a working RB button. I do kind of know how to fix it. I still haven't got around to like trying to fix it myself, but yeah, and the problem is if you don't get an extended warranty, which I would massively recommend, don't be content with the Xbox warranty, because yes, you get a whole year with the controller, but the moment that warranty's out, you're on your own. You got to pay for, you got to pay for services or try and fix the controller stuff, and those services can get quite expensive, especially from Microsoft. I looked myself, it is extremely expensive to get a controller fixed, and for something as simple as an RB button, I'm not sending my controller away to get fixed for like 90 odd pounds. It's something like that. If you go look on the Microsoft website, it's something crazy like that to get your controller repaired. So not worth it. Make sure you get a warranty with the controller so you don't have this issue. From wherever you get it from, whether you buy it from like say Argos or whatever retail you buy it from, get a warranty with it. Or even if you do it from Microsoft, get an extended warranty. Make sure you do. It will be massively worth it in the long run. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about the controller. So as you can see, everything I've got set up is pretty much normal, besides obviously the RB button, which we explained is like set to my click and my stick. Works fine for me. I've gotten used to it, and you know, this is the beauty of the controller. You can move things about wherever you want. You can still do this with a normal controller, I believe, but with the Elite controller you can do this. You can move things anywhere, everywhere. You can make your D-pad, your LB button for whatever reason. You know, if you play different games, it's up to you. But for me, obviously I'm having to use the RB button as my stick. For you guys, I wouldn't change to this, obviously. It's not something I recommend. I'm only changing it simply because of the issue I have with my controller currently. But what I do currently do is I have one paddle on the controller. You know, it's up to you how many paddles. Don't listen to other people. Don't sit there and think I have to use 4 paddles, 3 paddles, 2 paddles. Use whatever paddles you want, size, length, wherever you need. So right now I'm using this bit here is my A paddle. Now it's showing a long paddle there, but I'm actually using the short paddle there because it just fits into my finger like perfectly. And that's the beauty of this controller. You can move the paddles around. You know, you can move the big one to the top, or the big one to the bottom, or the little one to the top, little one to the bottom, wherever you like. And you can have one on the top on the left, or the bottom on the right. It's up to you, but do it to tailor your needs. You know, make it fit your hand comfortably. Don't listen to other people. Don't think the controller looks weird because of where you put the paddles. It's about being comfortable when, you know, that's the whole idea of the paddles, to make it more comfortable to press these buttons instead of moving your thumb off the thumbstick to press the buttons that you want to get to. So I only use A, obviously, because I jump in Call of Duty, so I will be setting like the thing to standard, basically. I don't change to like tactical or anything like that. So yeah, only thing here is I use one paddle on the right hand side with the short paddle, and I use it to just press A, just to simply jump. Maybe one day I might like start learning to, you know, try and use B on the left hand side, but for now, just the one paddle, and that's all I need at the moment. Let's go on to the next bit. So we're on to the left stick. These are the parts that most people ask me about, is your left stick and right stick, like adjustments. What do I do? So I've set this to instant. Now I'm going to talk about this. So the reason I've done this is basically, as you can see, you get an instant push. Instantly, right? And with Call of Duty, all you're wanting to do on the left stick, there's nothing, you don't need to be precise about anything, it's just movement. And you want to make sure that movement is happening instantly. So for me, I went with the sensitivity curve instant, adjusted that all the way up, and set it to radial. That's what I set it to, because radial is just the biggest push you can get on the controller. Like, it's a lot more, how would I put it? It's a lot more forceful, I'd say, than true diagonals, which we'll get into next, because that is for the right stick, and I'll talk about that. But for the left stick, this is what I set it to. It's up to you. You can leave this on default, but I just like the feeling of being able to move instantly. Like as soon as I push that left stick to like dart forward, or like say I go for a tactical sprint on that, I want to be making sure that's happening instantly. So this is what I have my left stick set to. Next up, the right stick. All I have this on now. Now in my previous videos, I used to have this on smooth, set all the way down, but I've gotten used to just using it with just true diagonals. True diagonals itself is just the thing you need. The calculation you need on your right stick is true diagonals. Simply because, as you can see, it is incredibly precise. That's all you need. It's just so precise. When you're wanting to aim, you can move to wherever you want to, and it's slow and graceful like that. But if you choose like radial, for instance, it's not, you can see it's not as precise. Like, it feels, how would I put it? It feels like you're missing a part, like, of your aim, whereas this, gradual, just gradual. You can move it wherever you want, and the controller, like, it feels like it's more accurate. That's what I'll put it to. It's just more accurate. It's a better, more accurate option for, you know, finding where you are at the controller on the stick. And yeah, so I use true diagonals. Up to you guys what you want to use here again, but personally, I would go with true diagonals. I think this is the best thing about this controller, because no other controller has this. You know, don't have settings like this. Doesn't have, you can't buy a scuff and get the calculation set to true diagonals and stuff. It will be stuck. Basically, the default is radial, so you have this set to true diagonals. It's just a lot more accurate. Next up, triggers. This is important. Now, this wasn't something that I discovered initially, but when I did get the controller, I didn't actually do this. But you'll see in the comment section of, I believe, my Modern Warfare video, someone recommended me this, and I've used this ever since. Set your left trigger and right trigger to 01, because what you'll see is, the moment you press that controller, that's it, that's the press done. Instantly done. You are pressing the triggers instantly, and this will help you with just being able to be trigger finger and stuff. You can use mirror triggers as well, so say this one's set to 01, and just click that and it will change that one to 01 as well. But yes, set these both to 01 for Call of Duty. It's absolutely amazing. You aim down sight instantly, you'll feel yourself hit the trigger instantly. It's fantastic. Make sure to set these to 01. Vibration. You don't need vibration. I would recommend anyone who is still using vibration to turn it off immediately. Like, basically set all these to the lowest possible, so that these aren't, the vibration isn't happening. It throws off your aim. I don't understand why people would use vibration. You might be one of those people who does. Trust me, turn it off and you'll understand the big benefit of not having your controller shake around in your hands and just being very spread. You want a nice, you want the controller to sit in your hands comfortably and not vibrating, shaking around and stuff. Yes, for the aesthetic feeling, say you're playing campaign or that, you'll feel immersed in the moment. But if you're trying to aim and stuff and you got the controller shaking in your hand, it's just not going to be a good time. You're going to be missing shots left, right, and center. And then finally, just because I don't know if this like makes the power, like the controller a bit more, like, how would I put it, like less of the power is going towards the light on the LED. So I just set this all the way to the lowest. And yeah, that's all it is for the controller basically. Only things that I set outside of the controller, because this is the one thing I did forget last time. So on my right trigger, I do have it set to the max, like, basically is the littlest input, so the trigger stops, it's set to the littlest input, so I'll feel like it stops instantly. It'll feel it stop instantly. Unfortunately, I don't have a camera that allows me to, like, record my controller and then put this on the video for you guys to see this, but my trigger on my right trigger for, like, shooting is set to the, like, smallest option, so you basically, there's hardly a press there. Left trigger, I have left at default. I do like the feeling of a full press. I don't know if you guys are the same. Up to you guys with the triggers, how you want to do it. But on the left trigger, I do have it set to the normal option. And then, this is the big one. Tension. Also sticks, actually. I'll talk about the sticks as well. So the sticks, I have the left stick set to the... my left stick on the actual controller is a dome stick for movement. The small dome stick. The one with the rings in the middle and stuff. You guys will know this when you have the controller. I set it to that. I've got it to on top of the left stick. I believe it just feels more comfortable in my hands. It feels like I can just push, and it feels like gradual. It feels more better than the normal sticks, in my opinion. And in the right stick, I have the normal Xbox controller on there, normal Xbox default sticks, but I do have a Black Ops 4 Control Freak on top. So yes, I do use Control Freaks. I think they're fantastic, and it just helps out a lot. But if you guys don't own a Control Freak or don't plan on getting one, basically just put a tool stick there. It'll be the exact same feeling as having a Black Ops 4 Control Freak on top of your controller. And the reason I'd go for a tool stick anyway, you just get more precise movement. You get so much more maneuverability, like you get way more ability to be precise with your aim. So definitely use a tool stick. If you guys can't get used to it, I'd try your best to learn it. Honestly, having a tool stick is way better than having a smaller stick, just because you get more leverage on the controller, and you just get more precise ability to aim. And then tension. So this is the one thing I didn't talk about in the last time, and I forgot, and I had to answer so many questions in the comment section about my tension. But on the left stick, my tension is normal. It's set to default. I haven't changed this because there's no reason to have a more like stiffer stick when pushing it. Whereas on the right stick, I have this set to the maximum tension. Now make sure to do this, because this means you're not going to get any, like, how would I put it? Like, if you have a looser stick, it's a lot harder to aim with. Whereas if you have a stiffer stick, it makes it so much easier to be more precise, because you're not going to get any. You're not going to be overshooting, you're not going to be undershooting your target. You're going to be going exactly where you want to, and you're going to feel like a bit of force, which you kind of want. You want to have that bit of force, because you want to feel like, right, I need to push all the way right because that person's all the way on the right of my screen, or the person's right there, so I need to push a little bit gradually. If you have a looser stick, it's going to be a lot harder to do these things, because the moment you press that, it's going to either go flying to the left, or you're going to undershoot, overshoot, and you don't want to be doing that. So make sure the right stick is set to the maximum tension, because these are my settings, these are my exact settings. But I will say, overall, you can change around, mess around with this. That is one thing I will recommend. You can use my settings here on the Elite Controller as a baseline, but what I would massively recommend is you playing around with yourself, going into a custom game, playing a private match, until you feel comfortable with your aim, with the way you move, with the way you shoot. Make sure you mess around with this thing, don't just assume that my settings are going to be the exact best settings for you, these are just my best settings, the settings that work for me, and why I believe they are the best settings. You guys should mess around in custom games, try these settings as your baseline. If they don't work for you, change the things, change the tension of the sticks, change the left stick, how it works, change the right stick, just mess around with it, test it out, make sure it fits perfectly for you. But yeah, overall, those are my settings for the Xbox Elite Wireless 2 controller. Next up, I'm going to be showing my Vanguard settings, so there will be a little bit of a cut, but I will be going into my Vanguard settings, sharing with you guys my graphics, sensitivities, everything that I do pair, obviously, with all these settings that I'm currently using on the Elite Series 2 wireless controller. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next segment of today's video. Right, hello guys, and welcome back to the second segment of today's video, which is going to be my Call of Duty Vanguard best settings. Some of you guys have been struggling with settings, I believe, because so far in my streams I've had a few people come in and ask me about certain sensitivities, about how to make the game look visually better, and I'm going to answer all those questions today. I'm going to show you my settings, what works best for me. And also, for those of you who have skipped to this part of the video, because you didn't have the Elite controller or you're not interested in the Elite controller, don't worry, these settings will work for your controllers as well. Obviously, you might need to tailor them around your needs. That's one good thing I'm going to say. When I go into talking about the sensitivities and stuff, the one thing I'll say is, there's not a one sensitivity fits all, but these are just settings that you can base yours off of. You can start with these and then move them around gradually, and I'll give recommendations of the certain sensitivities of what to play between and what not to play between. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with the main important things, which everyone loves to talk about. Sensitivity is massively important. So I am on Xbox, obviously. This will be a bit different for those of you who are on PlayStation, because I know the sticks are a bit more the sticks behave differently on a PlayStation than they do the Xbox. That's just how it is. Both controllers are designed differently. PS5 controllers, PS4 controllers. It is what it is. But I'll give you a baseline. So I play 5.5, and I do actually have 0.9 on as well, and I'll explain that in a second. But I play 5.5. It's perfect for me. It works for me. It works with, obviously, if you guys see my Elite controller settings before this segment of the video, you'll see, I have certain specific a way of setting up my controller. But for you guys, it might be different. Your controller might behave differently from mine. You might have your controller set a different way, or you just may have a different controller in general. Baseline is between 4.4 or 7.7 is what you want for an all-round good sensitivity. Just all-round, if you want to be accurate, between 4.4 and 7.7 is where you want to be. Anything higher than that you know, possibly if you're sniping, definitely go with a higher sensitivity. That's way different. You know, these aren't settings for like how to snipe and stuff. They can help with sniping, but if you want to be accurate with all guns, like an MP40 or you know just any SMG, any assault rifle, any shotgun, any tac rifle, this is the all-round base settings. Either 4.4, well, in between 4.4 and 7.7 is the settings that you should be using, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I go with 5.5. It's up to you guys if we want to start with that. Again, make sure to test these in custom games. You know, don't just assume that my settings are the best settings and they're going to work exactly for you. No, these are the best settings for me. These are what works for me, and I've been asked by a few people, you know, for my best settings and what settings I use. So that I'm just sharing what my settings are. But obviously, I'm going to claim these are the best settings because these are the best settings to me, but they might not be to you. So yeah. Next up, ADS sensitivity multiplier. You guys can leave this at 1 if you want. I know a lot of people do, but I like it at 0.9. You know, I was messing around in custom games, and I felt like I was overshooting my target just that little bit. Now, you can't be as precise with this as you could in Black Ops Cold War, where you could actually change this by editing the number to make it 0.95. So I have to just deal with it being 0.90. But it works perfectly for me. I'm very accurate. I stay on the target. That was the problem I was having. When I had it at 1, I was just overshooting the target. Like, I'd be on the target, and then I would suddenly lose myself off the target. So I keep it at 0.9 just to keep myself on the target. So yeah, that's personal for me. Some of you guys would like to do this maybe, like you could change individual sensitivities. This is a great option, and I might even use this, I don't know, because then I can keep the low zoom, which is obviously, you know, your standard iron sights or anything. As you can see there, it says anything less than a 2 times will be kept at the 1 sensitivity. Whereas if you're sniping and you're using one of these 6, 7 to 8 times zooms, you can change this. You can make it fat. You could make it more so you can, you know, when you go for a drag scope, you can move it to the right a lot quicker. This is a great option, but for me, I don't use this. I keep this off. It's up to you guys whether you want to use that. Button layout preset. Okay, obviously I use A to jump, so changing this is not going to work if I've set my panel to A. So yeah, for me, default is my favorite option. Some of you might like using but like all these other different ones. I think most people like using tactical to crouch prone instead. Up to you guys. Another one that I'd recommend, if you don't have paddles and you're struggling to jump shot and stuff, stick and move. Stick and move is a very good option. I used this back in Black Ops 3. It was fantastic for being able to jump shot and stuff. Obviously, in Black Ops 3, we had jetpack movement, so being able to jump in that game was massively important. But yeah, stick to move, fantastic option. But I've personally kept it on default. Haven't messed around with these. I know some people on PS4 or PS5 will flip these around. On Xbox, do not flip these. I do not recommend that at all. These kept on the same, don't change these. Aim response curve. Now, this is going to be personal again, but for me, dynamic is just the number one. I think everyone in Call of Duty now uses dynamic. If you see Warzone streamers, they're probably using dynamic for Warzone. People who play Cold War will use dynamic. Dynamic just is the best curve for fine, and as you can see, it says there, for fine aim rate control, which it absolutely is. It's just perfection. In those little moments where you want to move like the controller, like the stick slightly, this will help. And in those moments where you want to be able to move the control, like move the stick quickly, it just helps. It's perfect. It's the best of both worlds. It helps with both being able to be quick on your stick and also being able to be fine with the stick. So yeah, definitely have that on dynamic in my opinion. Best option. And if you guys, aren't using it, definitely get used to it. Definitely go into a custom game and start using dynamic. It is fantastic. Next up, controller vibration. Has set this to off. Don't know why you'd have controller vibration on. Weapon fire threshold. Make sure this is off. This basically changes how the guns trigger with different weapons. So let's say it's like you're trying to snipe. You're going to need to press the trigger more, even though so this is more for people who don't have the Xbox Elite controller, because obviously I've set it for the trigger to go instantly anyway. But I set this off anyway because it's just not beneficial. Let's say you're using a heavy sniper. It's going to make you want to press the button down really, really hard, or fully basically, before you can actually hit a shot. You want that press to be happening instantly, because otherwise you're just not going to hit your shot. You're going to be sitting there wondering, I pressed the trigger and I didn't fire my gun. You're going to be dying in those moments because you haven't, you've effectively pressed the trigger, but you haven't pressed it enough to make the shot go off. So definitely have this set to off. This, leave as default. Do not change any of this. Don't change this. This is important. Your dead zones. Make sure these are set to something that is perfect for you. If you've got a fresh controller, you could probably set these to 1 or 2 before you get eventually some more stick drift. But for me, set these all to 5. That's what I personally go with. All of these to 5. It's the best. It means basically I'm getting as close to my input as possible, but I'm also not getting any stick drift. Do not set these too low where the point, you see your character moving far to the right without you pressing anything. Test this in custom games. Make sure to see how low you can go before your stick starts moving on its own. If it starts moving on its own, start bumping it back up. You've got it set too low. But yeah, for me, I've set it to 5 for all of these values. Just a nice round value for all of these settings. Right, so next up is gameplay settings. So target aim assist, definitely set this to default, leave it on default, do not change this. ADS aim assist, obviously you want this on, you do not want that off for any reason. Weapon mount activation, I set this to double tap ADS because I don't want to be randomly, if I'm going next to a wall and I need to aim at someone, I don't want to be, suddenly changing angles and hitting, the wall at an angle when I don't want to. Sometimes that happens if you're near a wall or you're near a ledge that you can, mount onto. It will just drag you to that wall or that bench or whatever it is that you're mounting onto. So double tap ADS just so you don't accidentally do it, and obviously you can do it if you actually want to do it. So yeah, definitely have that on to double tap ADS in my opinion. Next up, weapon mount movement exit, definitely have that on. Have that on shortest as well. Massively helpful for when you're mounting and then you do want to get off that wall very quickly. Definitely have that on. Depleted ammo, kept this on basic. Partial, keep this on partial. You don't want to be mounting, when you go to jump shot someone or something, and you're next to something, you had it all before, it happens where you just randomly mount something or mantle something that you don't want to mantle. This is a best of both worlds, where you can mantle the things you want to mantle, and, not accidentally mantle, so I keep this on partial. Automatic sprint, I do have automatic sprint on. Still kind of messing around with the setting, not sure what is the best setting here. So far I'm having a lot of success with automatic sprint, so I'd go with that for now. Rest of these haven't really changed, slide babe is important, change this to tap. Definitely do not have this on hold. If you want to be hitting slide cancel and stuff, if you're one of those people who understands that mechanic, if not, go look at a video for how to do a slide cancel. But you do want to be having it on tap, so you can do those slide cancels. If you try and use hold, you ain't going to be hitting any slide cancels at any possible moment. If you do, you're just going to be too slow. It's not going to work when you want it to. So you want that to be happening immediately. So yeah, definitely have it on tap, not hold. Everything else is pretty basic. Yeah, I haven't changed anything else there. So that's it for the controller settings and that. Again, make sure to go into custom games to mess around with sensitivities and stuff. Don't just take my sensitivity as the best sensitivity and you're going to be absolutely amazing with that sensitivity. Obviously, my controller's set up for being more precise and stuff, whereas some of you might want to be faster on the sticks. You want to have a more higher sensitivity, like a 7.7 or a 6.6. So yeah, next up, let's move on to graphics. This is important. For me, safe area, I have this set to the min value, just because I like everything to be on the screen. I don't want anything all the way out there on the left or on the right. I don't want things that I can't see. I want everything to be as close to the middle of the screen where I'm actually looking. I want the mini-map to be as close to the middle of the screen. I want my, I just want every bit of information I can have as close to the middle, because that's where I'm looking. I'm looking at the middle of the map. Things if I move it all the way to the right corner or stuff, set it to the max, I'm not going to see the things happening in the right corner that I want to see. There might be an enemy all the way in the right corner, and I might just not see it. So yeah, have your safe area set to the min value. Me, I do play on an Xbox Series X, so I can run the 120Hz. If you have this option and you have a monitor that supports this, definitely turn this on. There is no reason to not have this on. Definitely have 120Hz refresh rate on. Next up, brightness. I kept this on 50. It just works well. It's good balance. Don't set this too high. Setting the brightness higher does not mean you're going to be able to see people better. It might make your screen more washed out, and you might actually end up missing people on your screen because of it. So definitely do not do that. Next up, color customization. I've set this to filter 2. I don't know why. It looks good. It's a better color, if you see what I'm saying. As you can see here, these reds are looking a bit pink to me. But here, these reds are definitely red, and the blues are definitely blue. So for me, I go with filter 2. It's up to you guys, but personally, I go with filter 2. Obviously, if you're colorblind, you might want to change that to a setting where you can actually see the colors as well. And it does have things like deuteranopia, tritonopia, all those different settings. So definitely change to that if you need to. Next up, big important one, field of view. So for me, field of view, I think everyone has agreed on the baseline that 100 seems to be the perfect field of view this year. But I'll give you a baseline. So yeah, you want to set this between 95 or 105 in my opinion. Possibly even 90, you could go down to 90, but between, I'll say, 90 and 105 is the max you want. If you go any higher than 105 of field of view, you're going to start getting FPS issues, especially on console. That's definitely where you're going to start getting issues. Some consoles like PS4 and that might not be able to handle, running the game at 60 FPS at 120 field of view. It just might not happen. So definitely between 105 and 90 is what you want to go with. And this does affect your aim, by the way. So this is one thing. If you're finding that your aim's not quite there, change the field of view as well. Definitely mess around with it. Don't just leave it on like 95 and say, oh, I can see everything. That's all I need to know. I can see the screen a lot more. I can see like the left more, the right more. This affects how your sensitivity works to you. You know, you might feel too slow, you might feel too fast. It also affects your movement, or how it feels to you anyway. It'll affect how you feel with your movement, how fast you're going, how slow you're going. So definitely, you want to make sure this setting is absolutely perfect for you. But yeah, for me, 100 field of view and unaffected. I don't think anyone plays on independent. It's up to you if you want to, but I personally play unaffected. Camera movement. This is important. You do not want your camera moving about when you're trying to shoot and stuff. So have this on the left. So yeah, I wish this could go to 0. This would be perfect if this could go to 0, but unfortunately it doesn't. It only goes to the least amount, which is 50%. So definitely, if I were you guys, change this to 50% just so you're not having this issue. Next up, this. So off, turn this off. No reason for motion blur. Absolutely worst thing ever. Weapon motion blur, again, off. As you can see, why would you want a blurry image? You do not want a blurry image when you're trying to see things. Next up, depth of field. Now, I do have this set to off, but one thing I'll say right now, this does keep turning itself back on. So every time you load up the game, once you've like done for the night and you finish the game and you go to load up the game the next day or something, this setting keeps turning itself back on. It's currently a bug in the game. Sledgehammer will probably fix it at some point. But for now, you are going to have to load up and keep turning this setting off. Do not have this on. As you can see, it makes things around your gun blurry. You do not want that. So yeah, next up, this setting I do have on. Again, this is something that is also bugged. It keeps turning itself off. You load up the game again and it's just back off even though you turn it on. So with this setting, I like to have it on and I like to have it set all the way up because this also makes the performance of the game so much better. It feels so much smoother, so much better in just all aspects. You feel faster. You feel like you're able to move faster. You feel the game looks visually great. It's a fantastic setting. I don't know why they added this. I don't know how they thought of this, but it is a fantastic option. Make sure you're taking advantage of it. Set this to on and set this to 100, especially on the old gen consoles. This makes the game so visually fantastic on consoles that probably should be able to handle this game at this point. You know, we're getting to that point where these consoles, like the PS4 or the Xbox One, are starting to reach the life cycle where they might not be, you know, usable in these Call of Duties anymore or going to be obsolete. And this setting makes it so much better. So definitely have that on. And then finally, this setting off. Make sure this is off. Even if you have great internet and you think you can handle it, this will give you packet bursts. Do not turn this on. It is not worth it. And again, this setting here makes, you know, the game visually better anyway. You do not need texture streaming when you have this setting on. So yeah, that's how to make the game visually better. Let's move into audio. Nothing too amazing here. Literally the only thing, I changed this to headphones. So yeah, I changed this to headphones. Not sure if this makes a massive difference. Footsteps are quite hard to hear in this game anyway at the moment. Don't know if they're going to be messing around with that a bit, but we'll soon see. And yeah, everything else pretty basic really. Nothing amazing here. Interface, I think I did change something in here. Let me just find it. I like to show my field of view counter and stuff. There is a field of view bug as well. Sometimes you load into a game and your field of view isn't actually the field of view you want it to. So personally, I'd have these on just so you can see, you know, how much you know latency you're having, whether you've got the field of view bug, and also to see if you get any packet loss as well. You want these on. So yeah, that's what I have on. Minimap, this is set to square anyway. If you've changed this to circle or round, change this back to square. Do not change it. Crosshair bobbing, I have this off. I just like my crosshair to be like stationary, not moving about because I'm mantling or stuff. And yeah, that's basically it for that. And then yeah, that is everything. That is all the settings that I have or have set to in Vanguard at the moment. Obviously, I'm not going to do mouse and keyboard stuff here because I don't use a mouse and keyboard. But yeah, those are my best settings for both the Elite controller and Call of Duty Vanguard. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if these settings work for you. Again, try this stuff out for yourself. Make sure to go into custom games, you know, make sure you got this all set to, you know, your needs and what you want. But yeah, these are my Call of Duty Vanguard and Xbox Elite controller best settings. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if these settings work for you, and ask any questions if you need to. You know, if you want to know something that I didn't explain in the video very well, or you wanted to know a little bit better on, ask in the comment section below. I will answer those questions. I did on my previous video. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe notifications on, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.